Author Christopher Neal has an innovative approach to writing children's literature, and he's introducing a series of books to the Northwest right now, and I'd like to welcome him.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you describe a little bit about the philosophy that your books are based on?
Yes, the New Paradigm name that we've given to these books is really based in the New Age literature of people like Marilyn Ferguson, whose book Aquarian Conspiracy is one of the forerunning books.
Written for adults, though.
Yes,
that one,
written for
isn't it?
adults. And also Fridtjof Capra, who's a physicist who writes about New Age physics in relationship to the contemporary world issues even. And you might ask, how do we suddenly then drop down to children's literature from that kind of plane? It's really a very good sort of spin-off in that some of the approaches in New Age literature compare the individual to the world in the same way that you would view the cell to the organism, for example.
Can you explain a little bit about how that translates into children's books?
Okay. New paradigm means dictionary definition, an exceedingly clear or typical example or archetype.
Right.
Okay? And children's literature is based on archetypal images. I think you're going to talk today about the Return of the Jedi. This is children's literature brought to the screen, in effect. It's comic books made into movies. This is a very popular vehicle for talking about contemporary things that concern us all right now.
Visually?
Yes.
What about the stories, the philosophy of the stories?
The philosophy of the stories is that the language of the fairy tale, which goes back 10 or 20,000 years, is very precise, and it takes you on a journey from what you might call your present state, that is, where you are now, and it journeys you out toward the desired state, that is, an outpicturing of what you would like to become, okay? And all children are in the process of becoming whatever it is that they see themselves as being out there 5 or 10 or 15 years. And then you're allowed, through the process of one of our New Paradigm stories, to seize the desired state and to draw it back so that you possess it then as your own new present state.
Why don't we clarify this by giving an example from one of your current books?
Okay. The most elementary example would be the I Can story. This is about little Amy Reynolds, a character that we've created for New Paradigm. And Amy's problem is, ostensibly, that she's learning to ride a bicycle and can't. You know, in the first frame, she says, I'm trying to ride this bike, and I just can't. And so her friend Susie comes along, and Susie helps her by taking her to a house where everyone can. All of the other children have learned how to do whatever it is they want to do. Mathematics, or reading, or playing the piano, whatever it happens to be. So Mrs. Biddle, who has this special house, very special house, has the can-do can to help the children learn how to take their positive or take their negative thoughts, that is the I can't thoughts. Have you ever had any of those?
Oh, yeah.
And to house the positive thought then, the I can thought, inside the negative container, that is the can-do can, which is simply made out of a coffee can with a wrap around it.
So you're just teaching children to believe in themselves.
Well, that's basically it. But there's a precise manner in which this information must be input into the subconscious.
And New Paradigm has researched this?
Yes, we have. We've spent over 3 years in the research and development.
Is there any particular conclusions that you'd like to tell us about that enabled you to write these books?
Well, I think that the tie-in between this book and the one that you held up in the beginning, Gypsy's Magic Box, and then there's the Gimme Twins, and we see the Gimme Monster behind us, and then finally we have a very ambitious allegory, which is called The Eagle and the Bear. No secret there what that might be about, is that we can do the things that we put our mind to. The images that we generate are really those things that finally come to life, for good or for bad. And unless we picture a world that is absolutely the one we want to live in and allow our children to live in, then we're just going along on chance, and really we're bogged down. And so these stories give us the tools and strategies, and also adults reading these to children will pick up tools and strategies to allow them to, in a very precise and meaningful manner, understand the issues and also reframe themselves.
And Christopher, does each book take a different strategy towards obtaining the goal of self-responsibility?
That's right. Each book really is saying, I can be a self-responsible person. And it's fun being a self-responsible person.
One of the concepts utilized is outpicturing. What exactly is that?
Okay. Essentially, we form images in our mind constantly. Every second, we're forming many, many images, many frames of images. And as we picture in our mind, we're actually neurologically and almost in a biochemical or electrical sense, creating energy, directed energy. And this energy is directed in such a way that it transforms the physical world around us into a configuration not unlike the picture that we're envisioning in our minds. So when you begin picturing with great intensity, a certain thing that you want to have happen.
A goal?
Yes, a goal. And you build up this treasury of images as a goal that you fix your mind on. And just leave alone the other images